Hi, I'm David Grigsby and we're here today at Wayne's Woodworks and we're going over a couple of the modifications that he's made on his CarveWright. Obviously any modification that you make to CarveWright would probably either void or alter the warranty and should be done with care. My dad's a retired die maker and has a lot of experience in this area, so again, word of caution as always with any kind of modifications that you make to something that goes very, very fast and has a lot of sharp edges. So enjoy the videos, and we hope to bring you a number of interesting topics concerning his projects as well as his modifications. And if you like what you see, click over here onto the side and subscribe, and also in the sidebar along the side you should see an area that says more information, and there should be links to interesting blogs and pictures and other projects he's working on. First off, what's your name?
The old fat man.
Okay.
Wayne.
And what did you do for a profession?
Die maker for General Motors.
So you're used to working with machinery?
Yes.
So what was the problem you had?
I was having trouble with the quick release chuck, getting the bits to seat properly and to come out after prolonged use especially.
Yeah. So generally just was frustrating trying to get one
Yes.
stuck in. And since it requires you to put them in and out about 4 times depending on a typical project while you're first setting it up, that can be frustrating. It takes a half an hour just to get through the ins and outs of setting up the machine to do its work, right?
Sometimes I was just having trouble getting the bits in and out. Sometimes, not all the time. Whereas this one hasn't been polished. That might make a difference on both ways. This one still doesn't want to go down in. There. You would have it in the chuck, you'd just be working this up and down in the machine. And then to remove it.
Why don't you show us how it goes together now, the way you like it to go together, and then show us how a brand new one goes together and how it comes apart.
Alright, this is the old one. I've moved it, made the modifications on it. And that's it. You could probably hear it click and how easy it went. That's just, you know, like pushing it in up in the chuck. Of course now it's not going to do it. But that's by hand. And before I had to use the tool.
Well, show us on a new one. Show us on the new one with the tool. And then how you have to take it apart with the tool.
It's cocked. And trying to press it together. I'm not exaggerating it. It just won't go right.
Plus we didn't hear the click, right?
No click. It's still not clocked. There it went. Pushing on the back and working with the bit, it went together. And then taking it apart, it's doing all right. But I also looked at the bit that I was having trouble with, and I noticed down here next to the body of the bit adapter around the screw head was some roughness. Part of it was some Loctite that had come out, and they tell you in the PDF on care and maintenance of the quick release chuck that you have to check for that. Make sure it's gone. Well, evidently I hadn't. I removed it, and I still noticed a little bit of roughness on the heads of the 2 Allen head set screws that are used to hold the bit into the adapter. So I took a file, a jeweler's file, and just smoothed them off and brightened them up. And this was before talking to Jeff or hearing from him about the black oxide. So the black oxide's off of here, and it's off of here on the old one, but black oxide's still on the new one. That might be the difference between the old one and the new one too. Or it might be a combination of things.
How long should they dedicate just to grinding down the radius?
I'd say no more than a half an hour.
And is it just on one side, or is it all four?
There's 4 different places on the chuck. And if they had a small enough a file, like a jeweler's file or a machinist's file, I believe they could do it with that too.
And are you just trying to take off the sharp angle, or are you trying to take off the oxide and the angle? What are you
Both. Since I've done this, I've had correspondence back and forth with Jeff Britt, the moderator on the CarveWright forum. I believe he's one of the engineers there too. I don't know. But he got back with me on it after discussing it with him through email and the forum and everything, and he said that he had found where 2 surfaces covered with, there goes the old brain, I can't think of it now, the black oxide, they could tend to bind just from the black oxide. So maybe taking the black oxide off would be enough, I don't know, but I went ahead and raised it. And I always used the light oil like they prescribed on the inside of the chuck and on the outside of the bit adapter, and it just really, it helped a little bit on short uses or putting it right in and taking it right back out. But for prolonged use, I think it was spinning off from the speed of the rotation, and really didn't do that good a job of lubricating it where it take it off. My understanding is, with my correspondence with Jeff, is it's not really meant to be a lubricant. It's meant more as a cleaning deal to keep the sawdust and particles out of the chuck, wiping it out like that and wiping it on the bit adapter. So anyhow, I polished those areas, those 4 flats, and made a radius on them. Small radius. You don't want to go hog wild with it. I'd say no more than a 16th, between a 16th and 3/32 or something. Just where you get that sharp angle off there. And it worked better, but it was still being difficult. So I decided that some lube of some type might be in order. Not inside here. But I figured where these 2 metal surfaces, when you caulk it and uncaulk it, on the outside, could benefit from some lube. I'd recently purchased some of Crane Cam's pre-assembly lube, and it comes in a couple of tubes, and it's on the form, if you look for it, where they're talking about lubing the flex shaft. It's got 40% moly in it. So I simply worked it and pressed it up, got a toothpick and got a little dab on it, and on each one of these surfaces here, put a little bit of lube. And then kept working it. The more I did, the looser it got. And then the ball bearings down in here, it seemed to me as if they was sticking a little bit. So I took the Q-tip, not Q-tip, but toothpick, and got some on them and got them to turn and got the lube on them. And then after I cycled it, I wiped it off of the bearing so it wouldn't interfere with the inside. And this is actually the old one that I took off because it wasn't working right. And truthfully, it works better than the brand new ones that they sent to me.
As far as
it's a great machine, I love it. If you like this this site, you can subscribe to it by clicking on the yellow button at the side. You know, I think you ought to have Brad Pitt playing my part.